executive session back to open session.
So moved.
All right, have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the vote. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. At this time, I'd ask each of you to certify that we spoke of what we went into closed session about. Whereas the Carroll County Board of Supervisors conveyed a closed session this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote, and on the motion to close the meeting in accordance to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, whereas Section 2.2-3711 and the board went in under A3, A7, and A8 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Board of Supervisors that such closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be resolved that the Carroll County Board of Supervisors hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, the only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed session to which this certification applies, and only such business matters as were identified in the motion of which the closed session was conveyed were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which this certification applies. I'll start the certification. Mr. Early,
So certify.
Mr. Collins,
I so certify.
Mr. McCraw,
I so certify.
Mr. Hill,
I so certify.
Mr. Dixon,
I so certify.
and I so certify. At this time, I'd ask Mr. Collins if he'd lead us in the invocation and pledge.
Father, thank you for this opportunity to be in this place and to work with the business of the county. We pray for your guidance, your direction, your blessing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. At this time, we have a retirement recognition. Mr. Edmonds. How are you today? Good. So I'll read this. The retirement award presented to Glenn Edmonds, 24 years of service to Carroll County Board of Supervisors, recognizes your hard work and commitment as Deputy Sheriff of Carroll County Sheriff's Office, presented the 7th day of November 2022.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. This is a wonderful place to work. Just got to come in and stick with it. I couldn't ask for a better ride in the last 24 years. Been represented by good sheriffs, represented by an excellent one right now.
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute. This right here is an outstanding human being. Couldn't ask for a better boss. Well done on the next part of my life. Gentlemen of the board, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service.
Enjoy your time.
Y'all recognize one of my business.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Kevin.
At this time on the agenda, I'll open the floor to Rex for a business recognition.
I think I'm just gonna sit up here since my person's not here today, or can't make it today, but this is going to, the Harmon's Western Wear in Woodlawn. That business was first started by Cleves Howard and Maria Harmon. Of course, everybody knows him as Gooch Harmon, and he was a very special person. And he was also called the mayor of Woodlawn. In 1970, Gooch opened his original business in the middle of Woodlawn, known as Harmon's Men's Store. Later in 1980, Gooch expanded his business, and the new shopping complex became Boot World. In the late 1980s, a woman's store was added to the complex. Gooch was a student of local history, and he opened his expansive museum in 1981. He amassed the finest collection in the world with items from the Carroll County Courthouse tragedy and Baldwin Felts Detective Agency. The museum has Civil War relics, Indian relics, and Pioneer Tools. And Harmon's is one of the largest private county employees with over 20 employees. And according to his family and his daughter, his secret to his success was be nice to people. So we're going to recognize Harmon's Western Wear with this certificate.
All right, next on the agenda is Veterans Recognition, and with Veterans Day this Friday, I got a couple that I want to recognize, and they happen to be on the board. Mr. Early and Mr. Hill, would you please come forward?
That's how I got to be a veteran. I came forward.
So they'll say the same, but I'll read Rex's certificate of appreciation, proudly presented to Rex Hill, and then Jody Early's will be Jody. In appreciation for your service, courage, and most of all, your sacrifice in support of the United States of America. Your dedication to the United States and its citizens is both commendable and honorable. So. Yes, sir.
And the ground troops couldn't do it without pop.
So, but we do want to remember our veterans this week, and anybody that's here tonight, we appreciate y'all's service as well. So, all right, next on the agenda, and before we move forward, we've done this business recognition once a month, each board member. December, being it's a festive holiday month, I asked that possibly each board member come up with one more business to recognize, and we'll do all 6 the last month of the year, if that's okay. All right. Next, Letter Task Force update, Mr. Code.
Good evening, gentlemen. I don't know how to get this started because I guess the minutes will say that Gerald Goad talked nothing about trash tonight. So, anyways, thank you all for allowing us to be here. We've got some of our Litter Task Force members here, and so we got a short presentation we'd like to present to you all about when we first started in the spring of the year, and it's kind of what we accomplished and what we hope to accomplish in the future. So, all right. Our task force, we meet every 4th Tuesday at 7 p.m. Here in this room. Of course, Ron Newman is on our board. Appreciate all of his input. David Young is the chairman. I'm serve as vice chair, and we have Michelle Payne here with us tonight. Benjamin Boyette, I don't know, he said he was going to try to make it. And then we got Margaret Leggett, Judy Farmer, Nancy Beasley, Trafina Horsley, and Janet Stump. And we've got another board member. Raise your hand. All right, yep, and all right. So thank you all for being here. I think we have a really great group that's really committed to, committed to clean up our county. So, all right. We have a lot of different ideas and everything, so we really focused on 4 main goals of our litter task force. And the first one is to sort of clear up and have a more accurate Adopt a Highway program. We're working with VDOT. I know some of the signage in the county, some of these organizations that shows that they've adopted a highway, they are inactive, and so we're really working really close with VDOT in trying to adopt a highway signs. We also want to extend our outreach to if there are any highways that are not adopted, that they will get adopted. And so that is our first goal is to work really close and enhance the state's Adopt a Highway program for Carroll County roads. The second thing is our community outreach, engagement, and education. Of course, we want to constantly do our community outreach. We want to enhance morale for citizens in Carroll County to take care of our county that we love to call home. And so, we want to increase our outreach, our engagement, partner with the local public schools in terms of education and the importance of, going green, clean litter, not picking up trash. The third thing is, of course, is partnering with our law enforcement, first offender program. Maybe hopefully Near Valley Regional Jail will bring back their trustee program, so we're working closely with them. We're working with the sheriff's office in terms of, maybe seeking some future ordinances as far as, doing anything in terms of litter pickup. And so that kind of gives you an example of our law enforcement goals. And then the fourth thing is trash convenience sites. We have a successful one in Cana, and so we're hoping that maybe with your all's help in any sort of input that you all may in the terms of the future of a placing a convenience trash site in all 4 or all 5 magisterial districts of the county. First of all, of course, I mentioned to you is adopt a highway. We'd like to address roads and programs that are not maintained. We like to obtain a list of roads in our program, in which we have worked closely with VDOT on that, and strengthen partnership with the program coordinator, which is Linda Gaines. We appreciate her help that she's done thus far. Community outreach, engagement, and education is that we want to try to identify options for posting volunteer opportunities, advertising flyers. We want to partner with the schools and the student education opportunities such as Earth Day and those types of things. Research grant scholarship opportunities. We want to develop a list of community events that we can actually partner with and set up for education, represent what we do, increase just constantly outreach and to increase the importance of, tackling our litter problem in the county. There's a Carroll County resource kit that we would like to generate for folks. And then also, we want to definitely highlight the Carroll County Roadside Litter Project that's been going on for many years. I'm a member of the Oakland Royalton Club, and this is something that we've participated in for numerous years. In terms of law enforcement, we hope that maybe we can talk with you all in the future in terms of doing some sort of ordinance enforcement. There is a county code, I believe, that in terms of in relation to litter, we would like to encourage you, maybe us work with you all in terms of expanding this and seeing if that can be adopted. Of course, we want to work with New River Community Corrections, that's probation. They have to do at least 100 hours community service if they're on the first offender program. And so we would like to work with them in terms of maybe these defendants and people that have committed a crime to do their community service through Litter Task Force. And then, of course, the trash convenience sites, we will encourage you all to look at the trash ordinances and things that Grayson County has. They do the door-to-door service. Of course, Wythe County has their convenience sites, and then Floyd has the roadside dumpsters. So this gives you some examples of what our neighbors are actually currently doing right now. And so we would like to, as a task force, encourage a partnership with you all to kind of see about these expanded services for our citizens. Wanted to share with you some numbers from last year's Roadside Litter Project, is that we had 10 nonprofit participants who picked up 384 bags, and they covered 146 miles and worked over 245 hours. So that kind of gives you kind of a little bit of an idea of just the Roadside Litter Project alone, and how much work that it does every year. And I appreciate your numbers on that. So, but that gives us that's our presentation. That kind of gives us what we have sort of strategized on the 4 goals, and we hope to enhance on that and build up from these 4. You can't build a house without a foundation. So these 4 goals are our foundation for what's to come in the future in terms of roadside litter or litter task force rather. So does anybody have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I will thank you and everybody that's here that's been working on this and taking their time to help.
Absolutely.
And coming back with recommendations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all going to continue to meet? Or is this?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we will continue to meet on the 4th Tuesday of every month. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
I do have one, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
As far as securing trash, do we have anything that maybe something we have to do, but people that go to the landfill that lose trash,
Mm-hmm.
y'all talked about that, any that lose them on the side of the road or?
We actually haven't talked about anything specific of losing trash from the landfill.
I mean, as far as someone taking it to the landfill, like securing it, putting on 10 bags in the back of the truck and not tying them down and
Oh,
losing them on the highway.
we haven't talked about that, but that is a good idea that we can certainly address. Yes, sir. Mhm.
I have a question.
Okay.
Could you talk a little bit about the welcome package or whatever that package was you mentioned as one of the things you could do?
I think what it was that the welcome package, was that basically sort of, can you elaborate a little bit?
Yes, I don't remember who brought it up, but it was a good idea. When people move into the area, they don't know what,
That's what it was.
they don't
Yeah.
know what their options are.
Okay.
Someone mentioned that when they moved here, they didn't know, and it took them a while to figure it out.
So-
Pop up in their area, and animals got into it, and then maybe you don't know what to do.
So how do we get that package to the new people that move into the county? That,
The idea was that they would give it to the realtors, the local realtors, or the ones that are like a welcome.
Yeah, the welcome center.
Welcome
Yeah.
center.
Mhm.
Anyone
Okay.
coming, moving into the area would get like a flyer that told them when the landfill's open, what their options are for trash, who's picked up trash, where to take trash, in the different areas.
It's basically to enhance what the services that we already have and make sure people are fully aware. And that's basically what the welcome kit is.
one other question.
Mhm.
Has anybody thought about countywide trash pickup through GFL, what that would cost and whether or not it could be included in the budget, the county budget, what the cost would be to the county?
We didn't specify for Carroll, but I do know that we have the numbers for Grayson because they compared their what they cost to GFL for Grayson County.
So their door-to-door is everyone in the county has trash pickup?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Yes, sir.
Could somebody look into that?
Yes,
See what
sir.
the cost would
Absolutely.
be?
We'll be more than happy to. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, we'll move on to the agenda, the clerk court update.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine.
I know you want to get rid of me fast. So
No,
sorry.
that's fine.
I'm talking more trash, right?
Yeah, okay. All right, then. So this is every year I speak to you all ever since I've been serving as clerk to give you all an office update. And the last time I did was right before COVID hit in 2020. It was in March. And so unfortunately, when I didn't make it over here to speak to you all last year, and so this is sort of a combination of 2 years. And I just feel as a constitutional officer that you all definitely have the right to know what's happening in our office. And so just wanted to give you a little bit of update what's been happening. So on COVID-19, I'm proud to say that we were pre-COVID-19 ready with all the technology that we put in place and with the e-recordings and everything that we actually, with the video teleconference and everything, we were actually pre-COVID ready. We didn't have to really do anything to change. We had the windows in place. We did some changes in our probate area to where they met with the glass. And so we were pre-COVID-19 ready. We didn't have to. I'm just something I'm not really good at patronizing myself. But I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that we were above the 8 ball on that. And so just wanted to share that with you. And also, never once did we shut our doors during the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of clerks in the Commonwealth cannot say that. They actually shut them down, but we went by the Supreme Court order that clerk's officers shall be remained open. Now, of course, there's different interpretations of the law, but I felt that as an elected official that we needed to be open, and we went by that ruling with the Supreme Court that we should be open. We were closed one day in September of 2001 to half of our office diagnosed with COVID-19. That was the only day that we were shut down. Okay. This just gives you kind of some numbers on kind of what we sort of our caseload. We average about 1,500 criminal cases each year. Of course, none of that changed during COVID. Civil is around 400 to 500 cases a year. Wills and estates were a little low, but then they came back up on 2021. You can't really blame that on COVID. I mean, the only thing you can blame COVID on is that people didn't come in and get their estate matters taken care of. Judgments are about the same. Deeds recorded, as you can see, the real estate market with the interest rate was really good. So we recorded 5,300 deeds back in 2021. Financial statement, I want to explain to you about the fictitious names. This is, we don't put those on record anymore. That's with the State Corporation Commission. So that's the reason why your numbers are so low. And marriage licenses, they were actually 180 marriage licenses in 2020, and it went up to 195. We average about 200 marriage licenses a year. Notary qualified, we average about 75, and so, it's about right. Concealed income permits issued, we had 1,549 in 2020. We had 1,000 in 2021. I have to say probably about one of every two people in Carroll County has a concealed income permit. So there's not many new permits that are being issued. So, but restitution, that's your restitution checks. We were down a little bit in 2021. Basically, people can't get restitution money unless the defendants pay. And so that's the problem. And then passports, of course, nobody wanted to go anywhere in 2020, but they jumped back up in 2021. Some of you know about this because I've presented it before, but for the new board members, I want to share with you in terms of technology, that Carroll County Circuit Court has all the technology that we can possibly have, based mostly through the Virginia Supreme Court. And just kind of want to share with you some of those. We have a circuit case management system. The case imaging system is scanning all the case files into electronic documents. The officer of the court remote access is for attorneys and officers of the court to have online access to their deeds. I mean, not deeds, but court records. The cover system is our land record system that we use. The VJOPS is an online payment system for defendants to be able to pay their fines and costs online. The judiciary e-filing system is actually a civil filing system where attorneys can actually file their cases electronically without having to come to the clerk's office. We have a video docketing system. It's a rolling screen outside of the lobby area that shows the cases that are going on while court's in session. We have a video arraignment system. This is one thing that I really pushed for, and we were able to get installed in 2019. And the number one reason is for building safety. We were one of the first courts in the service region, the New York Valley Regional Jail, to actually do bond hearings and hearings by Polycom video teleconference. Again, this was pre-COVID, so this saves a lot of transports to and from the jail. We are very fortunate, very blessed for this system. We also have a lot of people that can participate in court via remotely. We had a gentleman that participated in a civil hearing from Australia. So those types of things, I think that even though there was a lot of challenging things during COVID, I think that the teleconference portion for the court system alone, I think, was a benefit because people got used to using that. And so I think it's a very beneficial thing. We have a marriage license kiosk. People can do their marriage license. It cuts a lot of the processing time down. The RMS system is, of course, our records management. And we have a Virginia jury management system. Do want to, as everybody know, unfortunately, we lost an employee, Carla Anderson. She was our bookkeeping accounting technician, and she passed away in October the 28th, rather. I'm sorry, it's a typo. October the 28th, 2021. But I would like to share with you something very special, is that her family actually donated $1,000 to our office towards the preservation of a historical record in her memory. And that's something that we're working on right now. So it was a monetary donation to our office, and I thought that was a very special thing. And her memory and legacy lives on, and she did a lot of work for our office. In terms of career development, Stacy Goad received her deputy clerk certification during the 2021 Clerks Convention in Charlottesville last August. And that means now everyone except one deputy clerk in which she just got hired, are actually certified deputy clerks in the with the Compensation Board's Career Development Program in my office. So you have to be at least a minimum of 3 years full-time to receive the certification, and Chris Stone will get his certification. So we're very proud that everyone except one person is now certified through the Compensation Board. So, Library of Virginia Grant Awards. Last year we received full preservation of the deed books that you have listed, but I am proud we hit our 100,000 mark in grant funds this past year. So since 2016, our office has received a total of $109,568 in grant funds towards preservation, without a single penny of cost to the county. So I want to share with you some of my community appointments. I serve on a statewide committee for working interdisciplinary networks of guardianship stakeholders. It's through the Virginia Supreme Court. It's a network of clerks, judges, people, DSS directors, and basically what we're trying to do is trying to tackle elder abuse and trying to keep up with sufficient data in terms of guardianship and conservatorships. And so I was appointed by the Supreme Court justices to serve on that. I feel very honored. I'm one of 2 clerks in the Southwest Virginia that's on that committee. I currently serve on the Mount Rogers Community Services Board. Thanks to you all. I'm very honored and blessed for the opportunity to serve there. We landed a big announcement where we now have the Vaughn building in Galax for Mount Rogers. I think that's going to really enhance our services. It's a very good location, I feel like, for many, many reasons. And so just want to share that with you. I'm on the Supreme Court's Education Committee. We do a lot of things for helping clerks and deputy clerks in terms of trainings, in terms of manual updates, enhancements of just basically communication and training to make sure everybody's enforcing the code across the state and clerk's offices. And then I served as a panel speaker during the Virginia Court Clerks Conference on active shooter training. As you know, I'm a survivor of Virginia Tech in 2007. And so I was asked to speak about my experiences there. But one thing, too, I do want to mention is that the courts, I think it was back in September, actually, we did a active shooter training. And so that's something that I encourage, I think, all county departments to participate in. If you need any information about that, please let us know. It was very, very good. I think we're actually going to do another one. So I had to stay back and run the office. I couldn't close my office down, but my office went. And so all 3 courts did that. So, okay. Archives room update. Some of you have seen the video of where we're almost finished with our archives room. We only have 187 metal drawers left to empty into acidic-free boxes and install our shelving. And this lovely lady back here has scanned over 90 record books in the archives room. And so her, as well as many volunteers, have graciously really bent over backwards and dedicated a lot of valuable time and a lot of their personal time to turn our archives room around. And so I really commend her and commend the team down there that of all their many accomplishments. So, when you talk about records management system, I am proud to say that here very soon, it's already been sent to the developer. So I anticipate in a couple of weeks, every single mayor's license will be scanned and digitized and available online. That means that every deed, every will, every plat, every highway plat, and now every mayor's license in Carroll County Circuit Court is fully digitized, scanned, and available online through secure remote access. This was something that was the goal of mine when I first started clerk, and we're so close to meeting that. So, in terms of outreach, a couple things that I knew that I've worked on my own is basically in terms of enhancing services is that I created an informational packet on wills and estate planning that are handed out at all of our local funeral homes. What we found, and even including myself, when my grandma's passed away in 2018, funeral homes give a packet, and I felt like, well, that's such a missed opportunity right there. And so what we do is that we have a packet of about guides to administration of decedents estates in Virginia by the Virginia State Bar, and then there's an estate worksheet, and then the checklist that of everything that a family needs to bring for their probate appointment. And so this is given out by all the local funeral homes, including Moody's in Mount Airy, um, and so we felt like this was a good outreach. It streamlines a lot of information. It's hard enough to accept the loss of a loved one, and so what we're trying to do is just really make it as easy as we can. And we felt like it was a great service to do to give these out. We've also spoke to members of VFW, about wills and estate planning. We've done some workshops. I've spoken to the retired teachers associations. I've spoken at many different various clubs and organizations. It's something that none of us want to talk about, but I think it's very important. All of us need to consider that. One thing here recently is that I sent letters to all local pastors about church trustees, cemetery trustees, and wills and estate planning. There's a lot of cemeteries in Carroll County that don't have trustees listed, and they're required to by code. So we want to make sure, or I want to make sure as clerk, that we enhance the information and the knowledge about church trustee appointments and cemetery trustee appointments, and making sure those are updated, because we certainly don't want our cemeteries to fall to the wayside. All right. And all of our 7th grade students at Carroll County Middle School visited our office back in October. We had a lot of kids that came in. They actually learned how to research a deed, and they actually found where they lived on the county map without using a phone or a GPS, and so we thought that was really cool. But and then our volunteers took them to the archives room, and they actually knew a little bit about cursive, but most importantly, they was aware of the importance of protecting our history, and aware of the importance of genealogy and family research. So it was really cool. And that's all. And thank you all very much. It's an honor and privilege to serve as your clerk. Thank you all very much for what you do for Carroll County. All right.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Push Ministry Service.
Good evening. My name is Jill Bircham. I'm the pastor of Push Ministries. Push Ministries is an outreach ministry that started in Galax in 2007. We started out doing the normal food banks and clothing, and found out that there's a great need. And that great need is homelessness, people coming in from the reentry program, and addiction. And you can slide a little bit of abuse. And I want to give you a few examples of what we've run into here in Carroll County. First of all, you have the best sheriff. He's wonderful and so easy to work with. We've spent our weekend at the Motel 6 this weekend here in Hillsville with different people with different challenges. And we find that a lot of these people don't have IDs, and if they don't have IDs, they can't be put up in a motel. And the Ministerial Association in Galax has funded us to help put people in motels in Galax, and we have special rates that are negotiated, and we've just negotiated special rates with the Motel 6. We will be coming to Carroll County, and we are, through the generosity of Hillsville Christian Church, we're going to have offices there 3 afternoons a week, because we're finding that the need in this area is great. We had a phone call from Lambsburg from an older gentleman that was sleeping in the car in the Dollar General. We've had people who have left addiction programs and don't know where to go. They can't get a ride home, and they don't make the arrangements to get a Medicaid cab, and they're scared to death. And this is where we work closely with the police make sure they're not wanted somewhere, and make sure not only that we can get them in a motel, but we can give them a hands up. We help people get jobs. We help people find apartments. We help people get bank accounts. We take time to counsel. We do a lot of counseling. And I brought our team with us. First is Jerome Bell. Jerome has been an addiction coach for 20, 30 years. And he's really good at what he does. Next to him is Scott. Scott is our poster child. Met him walking down the street one day pulling a red suitcase. And in my spirit, I knew I needed to go get him. And I went and got him, and this young man was so focused on getting healthy that he got himself up into Roanoke, up at Pinnacle, and got the help he needed, then came back to Galax, got a job at Food City, got him a house to live in, and now he can talk the language to these young people who come in and don't know where to go, don't know what to do. And he can say the first thing is to believe in yourself. I'm excited about coming to Carroll County. I think that it's going to be a great mesh. We have already developed relationships with DSS, of course, with Mount Rogers, and the area churches. So the area churches are starting to call us when they have problems so we can help them. We do this 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You know, I say, God, don't you know I'm 70 years old? I'm supposed to be in the rocking chair watching the ocean. But that wasn't what God wanted. What God wanted is that we get out here and we take some of the load off the police department. We take some of the load off of DSS and do what we can do and do our very best to make sure Carroll County is the greatest county ever. Does anybody have any questions?
Where do you get most of your funding?
Well, I will tell you right now that we don't get paid, and we live on Social Security, and we depend on churches to give us the funding. And at $70 a shot for a motel, you can imagine, you know, the money that we go through.
Sure.
Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, well, we look forward to working with you all. And if anybody ever has any questions, please feel free to call us. We'll
Thank
do
you.
what we can do to help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizens' time. Ms. Brady?
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me time to speak tonight. And for the ones that don't know me, I'm Delilah Brady, and I do a lot of the digital for the county. And since the last time I was here, I asked for help trying to find a place where we could scan the historical images, and y'all came through for me. I think you would be very proud of everything we've done since the last time I was here, and there is not enough time to tell you all the stuff that we've done. We started out with the newspapers, and we've scanned newspapers dating all the way back to 1873. We've done newspapers that a lot of people have never heard of. We've done the Carroll Weekly, the Hillsville Virginian, the Hillsville News, the Times, the People's Advocate, and the Carroll Journal. And those are ones that people very rarely have heard of. We then went to yearbooks, and we've tried to digitize as many yearbooks as we can find. We get them out there, we post them so folks can see them. We've been lucky to find Hillsville High School, Hillsville Intermediate, Lambsburg, Sylvatus, Woodlawn High, Woodlawn Intermediate, Laurel Fork, Laurel, Fancy Gap, St. Paul, and Carroll County. We've converted microfilm, so you can now see all the Carroll County census from 1850 to 1950, the WW1 draft registrations, Civil War exemption records, post office applications from 1837 to 1950. And somehow we got into audio and video. And so we have, digitized VHS, mini DVDs, high 8 millimeters. And a gentleman brought me a 16 millimeter reel-to-reel from 1967, 69, I don't remember which year now. And he says, "Can you convert this?" I said, "Sure, I'll give it a try." But I had no way to convert it. So the high school had a old school projector, didn't work. They were going to do on gov deals. And I said, "Can I borrow it and see if I can fix it?" And they said, "Sure." So I got it playing backwards. I didn't get it playing forwards, but backwards. So I put that football video on there backwards and projected it to the wall, put a tripod video beside of it, and recorded that football game backwards. And then turned around to my computer with some editing software, flipped it, made that football game come back the right way, then converted it to MP4, uploaded it to YouTube and to our website that so people could see it. And what happened there, it created a real big, am I done? Can I have another minute?
Yeah, you can finish it.
I'm sorry. So it created curiosity in people. So folks from when they were in high school from the 50s went to the basements and went to the barns. And I'm now looking at 40 reel-to-reels, 40 from Hillsville High School. And it is hard for us to convert those with a backwards running projector that somebody has to sit there and hold so it won't pop out, and it's a lot. So I applied for the grant that y'all are offering that I see is on the agenda towards the end of the, because we, as our volunteers, we have purchased every bit of the equipment that is used in this county. Even in Gerald's office, he's talking about that. He said 90 books. 27 of them were the supervisor order books. And those were from, 1870. So we've done 27 from 1870, which was the first one, all the way up until 2017. And those are pretty cool. So I'm here to ask you, when you're discussing the grant, would you think about us? We really need a 16 millimeter converter. We really do. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've always done for us. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer, and thank you.
I will just say thank you for all you're doing to preserve our heritage and
Thank you.
everything. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Delo.
Questions?
John Nobley?
Distinguished gentlemen, good evening. My name is John Noble. Let freedom flow from Beaver Knob to Crooked Creek, just like the water that flow to the ocean, free, without chain. Don't put restriction chain on us. Don't put zoning law on us or similar ordinance. Today, you're coming after my land. Tomorrow, you're going to take everybody else's land. Some people want to take freedom from others with ordinance or restriction. Freedom is sacred. Like it or not, freedom is sacred. We must preserve it. We must protect God, country, family, freedom, and our way of life. We want to maintain our identity of mountain people, farmer, or business people. Freedom is on our DNA. Do not strip us of another freedom with this additional ordinance. Let's shout freedom from mountain to the valley of Carroll County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Any
Noble.
question? Joey, you got plenty of questions? Give me one. I think maybe you want to ask me, well, what freedom has to do with this? Freedom, what has to do, we like to do with our property, which is our castle. It's our pride and joy. We work hard all our life to make it happen. So that's why I keep trying to avoid this chain on my property. In fact, I have quite a few on the corridor, 58 corridor that you want to take. So I also feel discriminated. You know, why don't we do it for everybody? I know the reason. You know, I was in on this from the beginning, and the reason is Acadia. You cannot control Acadia with the ordinance similar to the zoning law. Acadia is controlled by the state. So to try to do something that you cannot be able to do, you are putting a chain on Carroll County citizens. Please don't do it.
Thank you, Mr. Noble. All right, next on the agenda is minutes. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
All right, have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion second. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the vote. Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes,
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Next, the consent calendar. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I so move.
All right, have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
All right. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the vote with Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
yes,
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Next, the payment of invoices. I'll entertain a motion to approve the payment of invoices as presented.
I so move.
All right, have a motion. Do I have a second?
second,
All right. Are there any discussion?
I have some questions.
Okay.
There's $112,649.25, and all it says is commission. What is that for? All it says is commission. $112,649.
It's 911 Regional Commission.
Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Laurel Fork and Cana Fire Departments, they were pretty hefty payments. Is that just the normal appropriated funds that go to those departments? Okay. And then design, all it said was design, $4,400 and some dollars. Do you know what that is?
I had to go back and look.
I didn't write down check numbers, I'm sorry, but.
$44.79.60.
Yeah. You have a check
I
number?
think it may be Halcyon Planning and Design. The Halcyon Planning is above the line, and it didn't.
Oh, okay. For the splash pad? Okay.
Are
That's
there
all.
any other questions? All right. I'll start the vote with Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
yes,
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Next is the memorandum of understanding and under new business. You gonna speak on that, Mr. Watson?
I can. The item that you have in front of you is a memorandum of understanding. It's a vehicle for Laurel Rescue. It's a truck. It was appropriated in our CIP. One truck was purchased for a one truck was purchased for a Laurel Rescue, and the other one was purchased for Carroll County EMS. They are Ford F-250s. They're going to turn them into trucks. I think they're going to put camper shells on them and use them for almost like a first responders type thing. What this does is create an understanding between the county and Laurel Rescue in order if the property is no longer being used, or if we decide to, it can be turned back into the county.
Okay.
We started doing that, I guess, a year or two ago when anytime we purchase a vehicle. That way, there's no misunderstandings when it's time to either sell the truck or do something with it, or we know where the funds need to go, where the vehicle needs to go.
Okay.
This is the same format you've used before.
Yep. So I'll entertain a motion to approve this memorandum of understanding.
I make a motion we approve this memorandum of understanding.
All right. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Motion and second. Are there any discussion? Hear none, I'll start the vote with Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Next, the resolution with Virginia Produce.
Okay, this item you have in your packet is a resolution of support for an application to the Tobacco Commission for Virginia Produce, seeking a grant in order to buy equipment for the facility.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution. I apologize.
I so move.
All right, have a motion. Do I have
I'll
a second?
second.
All right, are there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the vote with Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. All right, next, old business, the nonprofit grant applications. I'll entertain a motion to approve them or to table them until the budget committee can have a chance to go over.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to table this for further discussion until we can all meet together.
Under old business A and B, or,
A and B.
okay. I have a motion to table A and B so the budget committee has an opportunity to look at it.
I'll second.
All right, have a second. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the voting with Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Next, the vacation of the plat. Is that something, Mr. Durbin, that you could speak on for us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In your agenda packets, you see the plat that is being requested for vacation. This is the same matter that I brought up during attorney's comments at the last meeting. The board approved moving forward with that. I have prepared a instrument, a deed of vacation, which basically abandons the internal lot lines, abandons this plat, sets it back to one unified property, and vacates the rights of the public body in the streets and easements that are dedicated on the plat. If you'll recall, we discussed last meeting, I believe, that whenever a plat is put to record, that recordation serves to transfer to the public body title to the public rights of way, roadway easements mostly, but also utility easements sometimes. So the Code of Virginia provides a procedure when no lots have been sold yet to just vacate that plat by recording a deed of vacation. That deed has to show the consent of the governing body. So I would just ask the ask the board to authorize the execution and recordation of the deed to vacate this subdivision plat.
Okay. So am I correct then we can vote to approve it, or we can vote to hold a public hearing, one of the two, correct?
You could vote to hold a public hearing. That's a separate process.
Right.
It's usually, I think that's the procedure that's been taken up in the past, and we followed other processes when one or more of the lots have actually been sold.
But this really doesn't, you don't feel,
I do not feel that it's necessary in this case,
Okay.
just because there's no other property owners involved. There's no internal lots that have been sold, so.
okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to vacate this plat.
Could I ask a question first?
Right
But-
now, we're just going to do the motion in a second, then we'll have a discussion.
Okay.
I make the motion to vacate the plat.
I have a second.
Second.
All right. Are there any discussion?
I have a question.
All right. Lay it on.
The current landowner, is he the one who subdivided it?
I don't know that. Ronald, do you know? That's what I thought was the case, is that the person who submitted the plat to record, who did the subdivision, is not the person who owns it now and is asking for vacation of it.
Okay.
Also, is that, this was under the old recreation subdivision? So that means if it comes forward, there'll have to be, to do it again, there'll have to be new roads built in a bigger, larger fashion.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
There are no internal roads now, right? Okay.
I just, yeah.
Yeah, it's my understanding this is just a paper subdivision. They're streets on paper that technically the county has a right of way in, but it's not developed, it's not used.
I don't have any further questions.
All right. Are there any other members have any other questions? All right. I'll start the vote with Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Next on the agenda is board member comments. I'll start with Mr. Early.
Well, first, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up, and also encourage everyone to please go out and vote tomorrow. Our democracy is in serious threat, and we need everyone to get out and vote. However you may vote is fine, just vote, please. Also, I'd like to thank, and I can't name them because I don't know who all they are, but all the volunteers that volunteer their time and money behind the scenes, most time without recognition and without thanks. I mean, we saw some of them here tonight. They do wonderful things for the people of this county, and I'd just like to thank them for their tireless service to the county, for the betterment of the citizens of the county. So thank you. And also, as we normally do, thank the staff for their hard work. You all put in a lot of hours, and you provide us with the information that makes our job much easier. So thank you.
Mr. Collins?
All right, I've got 4 things that I want to discuss. First of all, in my district, several people have asked about the possibility of going back to once a year taxes. I would like to see us put that on the agenda for a future meeting, whether it's December or whenever it is, to discuss and have the treasurer come and talk to us about pros and cons, talk about the issues we had this year of the tickets not coming out on time, and then we had a date and they didn't come out at that date, and a lot of people were frustrated. Plus, Davenport Financial, David Rose, I believe was his name, who came and spoke with us, told us that it only benefited the county one time. So I would love to have that conversation in the public arena, let the public comment on doing that. The cost of doing that twice a year is pretty substantial. So if it only benefits us one time and that time is gone, I'd like for us to, if we could, Mr. Chairman, to discuss that. Second of all, we had an issue that came up with the Carroll Grayson Galax Animal Shelter and a board issue. We received that in an email at one point. Whatever happened with that?
Um, I sent out an email for discussion at one time, I want to say several months ago. It had brought up to me that the Carroll, Grayson, Galax Animal Shelter was originally formed by all three partners, putting a sum of money in and doing it. At one time, from my understanding, by speaking to the animal control officer here, we did have a board. We had our county administrator, the animal control officer from all three jurisdictions, or an appointee from the county, but the animal control officer was on there. And they had a board that managed the facility. We used the facility probably, well, I just received the numbers the other day. It was about 51, 52% of all animals that go in there were paying. So there was at one time previously, within the last, I'm gonna say 6, 8 months, that we were discussing of having to establish that board again. So as we go through the budget this year, we'll have to look at our contribution, and one of the things that I have thought, if we're going to increase our contribution, then there needs to be a board that manages the facility.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, it says that there has to be one, doesn't it? Doesn't the agreement say that there is a board going to be in place and that it's not?
That's correct.
So we're out of compliance with that agreement. So who is making the decisions?
I'm going to say the city of Galax employs that person. They do all the bill paying and all the things that go along with it, the payroll, the hiring. We really do not have any influence or input on it at all.
Do we know how much we've paid into it?
We pay about $30,000 a year as our contribution, I believe. We donated, I'm looking over to make sure I ain't saying something wrong, and about $20,000, I want to say last year, because they had fundraised. There's an organization, Friends of the Animal Shelter, that raised a bunch of money and received money from a grant, and each municipality put in $20,000 that last year in order to do renovations, which were desperately needed. But
yeah, I'd just like to see us get in compliance with that. That's all I have on that, if we can follow up on that. Sure. With the litter task force, first of all, I want to thank that team that has worked on this and come together and met together and put their heads together to try to work on some things. Mr. Chairman, that's another thing I would like for us to begin discussion on with the public, and is, how can we provide a better service for their tax dollars? If it's convenience sites in every district, if it's green boxes in every district, I don't know what the answer is, but I'd like for us to have that discussion. Fourth, it was mentioned tonight about Acadia. They've been in operation for a little while now. Are there any updates on anything that's come from that's been, I know we were concerned about crime rates and issues involving law enforcement. I've not heard anything.
We are running calls, I think, as far as EMS that I'm sure of. I don't know how much effect it's had on the community so far. I can try to get an update and find out.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. I'd love to keep that updated as we go along, just so that we can, stay on top of things before they get out of hand. That's all I have.
All right. Mr. Hill?
Yeah, I want to thank the litter task force as well. They come up with some pretty good ideas, I think, and I hope they continue to meet, because there may be some more ideas that come forward. I also want to thank everybody that participated tonight, come in, and all the staff and everybody that does the work for us when we get up here. All we have to do is say yay or nay. Our job's halfway simple, and that's all I've got.
All right. Mr. McCraw?
I'd like to thank Gerald and Delilah for their work they do to preserve our history. Once our history's lost, it's gone. So I think it's awesome that they do put so much time, and they have several people that help them with that, and I just don't know the names. Also, like to thank our veterans. We've got Veterans Day coming up this week, and I just think that that's something that we let pass by sometimes, and we don't thank the veterans for their service and their sacrifices they made to maintain a free country for us and a free society. That brings up Election Day is tomorrow. Don't forget to vote, and thank a veteran when you go vote if you see one. And lastly, I'd like to thank staff for all that they do, and hope that everybody has a happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Dixon?
Yeah, I got the opportunity the past few weeks to ride around with Wade and help Fran at the Commissioner Revenue Office, go out into the field and assess new construction. I did thoroughly enjoy seeing parts of the county and homes that I didn't even know existed. It also gave me a great understanding of additional duties that Commissioner Revenue Office does do on the field, measuring a home, sketching, taking pictures. And it's good to, I was glad I was able to help and learn new things, and you get out in the county and do different things for the people. Definitely thank all the staff and employees for everything you do. Sheriff's Office, our fire and rescue, volunteer, fire and EMS, and veterans. Thank you for who served, and hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving. That's all I've got.
I guess next month I'll be my last month as chairman of the board, so I'm gonna go first, so I don't have to ditto what everybody else has said down through here. But I do greatly appreciate our employees and Mike and Mr. Durbin. Thank you for your service to this board, and
Thank you.
Crystal and Justin, all of our employees, and Jason and IT staff for all they do, and here for our meetings and stuff to be sure we get it out to the public. Thank our veterans. Without them, we don't get to enjoy the things we get and as far as freedom in life. And appreciate the board, all their hard work and effort. A lot going on. It seems like it never slows down. A lot of decisions to be made, and everybody on the board's always willing to step up to serve on a board or have a meeting or do whatever they can to make sure that the business is taken care of in a prompt and mannerly time. With that said, hope everybody gets out and votes tomorrow and I hope our veterans have a great day on Friday and everybody has a good Thanksgiving. And I will remind each of you to, if you would get us a business for December, we'll all do that in the month of December. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Watson.
Okay, I was just going to give a short update on the splash pad. Staff have been working and getting quotes. What we're looking at doing is we're going to do a little bit of grading work, keep the water out for where the pad's going to be, and we're going to do some changes in electricity as far as a service panel. We have placed the initial order for the splash pad, so hopefully in I'm wanting to say January, February, April, somewhere around that way, they start construction.
It's supposed to be done by February 14th, isn't it?
I was thinking it was May
I
30th.
thought it was March or something like that.
June, July. I mean, no, we're working to get it done in March. I believe is our date. Short date. We'll do what we can to get there. We're also getting a drawings of a floor plan for restrooms. Once we get those, we'll be able to. What our initial plan is to bid out the foundation, the floors, and do a split block walls. Have that all poured, and the rest of it we'll do in house. Just this time and the time of bidding and the cost is just that's the only way we can see it done. Once we start getting our estimates in, I'll bring it to the board. We're also looking at the farmers market. We'll do some tree trimming in order to keep away the leaves from the splash pad and to provide sun. And are looking at some different things on the playground and that type of equipment. So hopefully within the next month or so, we'll be able to give you some good estimates and ask for appropriation to move forward on the bathroom. So.
Is that all you got?
Other than that, I just want to say thank you for everything and all staff. I've got a great staff surrounding me, a great group of bosses, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving.
Mr. Durbin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one thing, other than to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving coming up. Wanted to just note, it's been a little while since we've talked about delinquent tax collection. Wanted to let the board know that we, in the last 12 months, have collected $110,000, $651.09, mostly on just payment plans and in taxes, penalty, and interest for the county. We do have a tax sale coming up on November 22nd. It's going to be in the boardroom here on the second floor of the Carroll County Government Complex. We have 27 registered bidders already and one bid on one of the properties, and we'll report at the next meeting how the sale goes. But also just wanted to compliment Benita Williams and her treasurer's office staff on how well they've been working with us and getting payoff amounts to us and getting the data that we need to continue to set up these plans, get these delinquent taxes paid off. I feel like, I know her staff's very busy, but I feel like we have a good system in place now. It's been working really well. So just wanted to acknowledge that and thank her.
Absolutely. All right. Before we have adjournment, I did have somebody that texted me, asked me a question in that trash site. They seen that game warden vehicle and they knew you was a game warden, Rex. You went and caught throwing that trash out with you.
Do what?
In the slide.
They're gonna have to identify me.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All right. Have a second?
Second.
All right. Are there any discussion on that? I'll start it voting with Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Wrote a lot of tickets.